Welcome back to my channel, everyone. The Next Level Life Hacks, where we take the next steps needed to grow towards our financial freedom and our success. Now, in my previous video, I mentioned that I will be reviewing the Dave Ramsey 7 baby steps to financial wealth and success. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. Stay tuned in this video as well, because I'm going to be letting you know which step that I am at, so that I can share with you my experiences, and here we are here to learn from each other. That is why it is critical that you place your comments below so that I can know what step, if you're at any of them, if you have started, considered it, or if it is that you are willing to try these steps. Now, of course, Dave Ramsey's method is quite controversial in terms of his approach to debt management. He does not believe in having any debts. While some persons choose to use debt, they term it other people's money, OPM, because persons believe that you should never use your own money to invest in certain things, especially if it is high risk, by using debt from financial institutions. Therefore, the term using other people's money, while you keep your funds for your emergency funds, family, lifestyle, sustenance, and other things. Now, again, I must mention in this video that I am not a financial advisor. This is just a review of Dave's methods of running things, or what he advises you to do with your money. As I said, I believe in some or most of them. I have not adopted all of them, and I'm not sure if I'll be using all of them, to be honest. But I think it is very important to look at them, because I think debt is something that should be managed and controlled. And if you can live debt free, especially as you approach retirement, then it is very important and good for you. So let's look at the steps. And the first step that he looks at or recommends is that you save $1,000 in emergency fund as quickly as you possibly can, dropping all other lifestyle desires and wasteful spending, and do a gazelle intention and focus into obtaining that $1,000. Now, this $1,000 is intended to be spent on emergencies like car repairs, medical bills, because you know, no matter how good your medical insurance is, except if you're on things like Medicaid or other government assistance program, then most health insurances, you're going to have co-payments for your medical bills. And this is what that $1,000 is intended to go towards. The intention of this $1,000, it serves a couple of purposes. One, that it prevents you from being into problems should any emergencies arise. And also what it does is so that it motivates you, because once you're able to meet this $1,000, you feel a sense of accomplishment, and it gives you the motivation to go on to the other steps. So some persons might say, hey, what can $1,000 do? But it can do a lot. If you look at the survey of persons in the United States, it is a very high percentage, and I'm going to be placing that percentage and that research right here on the screen that shows you that most persons in the United States cannot find $400 to $500 for any emergency that might arise. Therefore, if it is that you have $1,000 in an emergency funding, you are way ahead of most persons in the US population. And so you with your $1,000, that's a significant accomplishment. So as soon as you have accomplished that $1,000 in your emergency fund, it's time to go on to baby step number 2. And this is to pay off all debts outside of your house mortgage, if you have one, using the debt snowball effect. And this is where, quite honest, is where I am. I know some of you would have said, hey, I thought you'd have been much further in the steps to 7. But hey, to thine own self be true, and to be honest to you, my viewers, this is the step that I am now at, to pay off all my debts using the debt snowball effect. So let's dive a little bit deeper into what this strategy really entails. You are going to be using the debt snowball effect, and I've mentioned this in previous videos before, but let's go over it again real quickly. You are going to assess and list all your debts from the highest balance to the lowest balance. Regardless of what the interest rates are, you are going to pay only the minimum payments on all the other debts apart from the lowest debt that you have, and all the excess amounts outside of the minimum payment from that amount, because hey, you do not want those debts to go into bad debt or default. So you're only going to be making the minimum payment on them. Forget if you accumulate some additional interest fees because of not paying the full statement balance, for example, on your credit cards. Make the minimum payment, and all the excess amounts, you are going to dump it on the smallest balance of all the debts that you have. And once you have cleared that debt satisfactorily, then you're going to take all the other minimum payments, including the payment that you used to make on the smallest amount, and you're going to be dumping it into the second highest amount. And you continually do that until you have cleared all your debts. Remember, I just said debts, all your debts outside of your mortgage on a house if you have one. Now, the first thing you realize is that once you start getting that momentum and you're building, because remember, after each debt is clear, you now have a larger amount to put on the next debt. Can you imagine when you have paid off all of these debts and you have that amount of cash sitting there? What are you going to do with that next? And that's where the following steps are coming. But this $1,000 in your emergency funding, all debts cleared, this is a major accomplishment and motivation, but you're not going to go backwards. You're not going to go and incur more debts and then erase all the progress you have made. So how my facial expression cleared, I'm trying to put fear into you. Do not do that. Clear your debts, have your emergency funding, and let's go to the next step. Now, step number 3 is that you're really going to ramp up the game. $1,000 for emergency funding, hey, that's not enough. We knew that from before. So now it is time to save the real emergency fund that is going to give you the peace of mind, the cushion, allow you to walk with a swagger. When you step into your workplace as a full-time employee, you're not going to be disrespectful, but you're also not going to be taking disrespect. I like to say, as I serve my guests or as I serve any customer, that I am here to serve you, but I'm not your servant. And likewise, you are there to do a job to the best of your ability, even down to the last day. If you plan to resign from your job, you're going to put out your best, because remember, there is a ripple effect and you never burn your bridges. But as long as you're on that job, and especially when you can look at your bank account, your investment, your side hustles, what you have accumulated in that 3 to 6 emergency funding, you therefore know that if I even walk off this job, or if they fire me today, or if the business gets burnt down, some natural disaster, anything happens, you know that you can live comfortably because your expenses will be covered from anywhere from 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months is more than enough time for you to recuperate, pivot, get a next job, start a next side hustle, but you will not be desperate, you will not go into bankruptcy, you will not be evicted from your home, because or your home might not go up for foreclosure or sell on the marketplace or be auctioned, because you can manage yourself for 3 to 6 months. Remember, the goal is to get anywhere higher to that 6-month amount, but 3 is the minimum. So that's the aim for baby step number 3. So $1,000 checked. All your debts paid off? Checked. 3 to 6 months emergency funding saved? Checked. You're in a great spot. That's where I want to be soon. I envy you if you are there. Let's move on to the next step. The next step is to invest 15% or more of your household income into your retirement fund. I'm tired to preach it. Your kids are not your retirement or pension plan. There is no other job that is as ungrateful or unrewarding at times than a parenting job. You can beat me all you want. Have you seen those stories of how those children go and throw their parents in nursing home? There is no guarantee as to how you will be treated in your retirement years. Another thing that you might be doing is placing too much hope on that social security check or that pension check in other cultures that you are depending on. You do not know where inflation might be in the future and what your social security or your pension check will be able to do in the future. And especially if you are doing a feasting mentality now to famine later, you might be being stingy or holding back on the amount that you're putting into your retirement fund. Therefore, you're also going to be having a limited pension or social security check. Small amount in, small amount out. And that is why we're saying now at least 15% of your household income. At least not me. I'm not owning this strategy. I got carried away just now. What Dave is saying is that you need to be investing at least 15% of your household income. And if you want to really go aggressive here, I would say 15% of your gross, not of your net. No. I would go with your gross amount before taxes and all those expenses are taken out. to really maximize your opportunity for the future. This is where that matching 401k or pension match from your employer comes in handy. You might be giving away cash or leaving cash on the table. This is free money. If it is that they say 3 to 6%, whatever the range is, they'll match that amount. Go for the highest amount. You're giving them so much of your time and labor and energy, time you could be spending with your family, working all that overtime. Get back as much as you can from them. Ethically, of course, but get as much as you can get back from your employer because they are demanding their pound of flesh. So after those 4 steps are completed, we're going to look now to your kids' college education, and this can be a significant amount. Have you seen the amount of debt that has been accumulated by college graduates just for the student loans that they took out? Whether you're in Jamaica, where I'm from, or in the US, these are significant amounts. It took me almost 9 years, 7 to 9 years to finish paying off a 1-year student loan that I took out when I was going to UTech. Biggest mistake ever. It helped me at the time, but what I should have done is to apply for more scholarships and grants. I did get a grant to complete my studies, but I should have done that instead of taking out the student loan. Therefore, if you want to set up your children for success, then start looking at investing in a college fund. But some person might say then, hey, why did you put saving towards your college fund after looking about your retirement fund? Hey, controversial point coming now. College is not a must for everyone. What percentage of the population goes to college? How many of the world's wealthiest persons were college dropouts and did not complete college? I'm sure that the Warren Buffets of the world, they did not complete college. They were dropouts. They were misfits. Therefore, it is not a must. Yes, there are some fields. So if your child has an inclination to the sciences, they want to become a medical doctor, or they want to go into things like becoming an attorney or a lawyer or one of those things, then that certification is critical and it can be expensive. So know your child. If your child is leaning and insisting on going towards that, then you need to develop a college fund for them. But as I said before, you need to look out for yourself in this situation with your retirement funding first. You do not have to fully finance your kids' college education. They can go part-time and work full-time. It's not your 100% responsibility to finance their tertiary level education. It is something that we would like to do, but it's not a must. I personally, from my son was born, I invested in what is known as the Heritage Investment Savings Fund. That was it was not, I was about to say it was prevalent in Jamaica at the time, but yes, we knew of it, investing in it, and I can't believe that so many years have passed, and we might have just 1 or 2 more years that we can invest and then we can reap the rewards from it. The good thing about that plan was that it did not have to be paid to the university or college. We would receive the funding in our names as the parents, and then we would decide what we wanted to do with it. It also did not obligate or compel him to go to university. It is just that if he goes to university, there is a scholarship component attached to the investment product that he would benefit from for the 3 years. If he decides not to go to college or university, we would get that check in our name with the interest accumulation and forego the scholarship. Win-win. I did it. I'm glad I did. And you need to do it as well. Now, step number 6 is to pay off your home early. What do we mean by early? Start making additional payments each year. Do you know that if you make at least 1 additional payment per year, which goes towards the principal, you can reduce the terms of your mortgage by 4 to 7 years? Yep, you heard me right. Make a call, pause this video as a matter of fact. Make a call to your mortgage officer or to the bank and just ask them, if I should make 1 or 2 additional cycle payments each year, how much would I reduce my term by and what would my principal be reduced by? You would not imagine the amount of interest that you would save on your mortgage by making an additional payment. And this is where the focus needs to be right now, as recommended by Dave. Remember, you have accumulated your emergency fund, you have cleared all your other debts, credit card and personal loans, you have cleared all of those, car loans as well, because in that step, you were supposed to have, in those steps that you rank your expenses, you were to have cleared your car note as well. So car and everything is paid for. All that money now needs to be dumped into your mortgage, making as many extra payments as you can make so you can get rid of your mortgage loan. And then the real wealth will start to be generated because, hey, you are living entirely debt free. And the last step, which is step 7, is the euphoria stage. You are now continually multiplying and building your wealth, and the most important part, you are giving. Giving is critical. The Bible says it. Read The Richest Man in Babylon. Who wrote it again? Let me look. George Clason. Read The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. It is Clason. I hope I'm pronouncing it properly, but I digress. It is important for you to give. Giving is where you get that self-fulfillment, satisfaction. You're in one with your purpose. You are getting that satisfaction of solving the problems of your community or the world in general, because you have set up yourself financially, all debts paid, you have your emergency fund, you have so much disposable income right now that you keep on reinvesting it, increasing your cash flow, and you now have all that extra money that you can start giving back. You're going to give back responsibly because you don't want persons to just come to you and using you. You need to assess it. You need to critically analyze the needy from the greedy so that you're only giving to the needy. And then you will have that self-satisfaction. You would have actualized the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You will be at the pinnacle where you have self-actualized. You are now satisfied and you are giving back to the community. And just like that, once you have reached this euphoric stage, you have completed all steps. Now you are retired in fine style, being able to afford anything you want, go anywhere you want. As I've always said, my goal is to do what I want, when I want, with who I want, for as long as I want. And that's what you will now be able to do. Now, as usual, my friends, we've gone through the 7 steps, and I'm asking you if you have found even one of the steps to be beneficial to you. Please like, subscribe, share it with other persons who might benefit. Subscribe to my channel as we grow towards success, and see you in the next video.